What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Yamcast. Today is episode 89, and this is actually a very special Yamcast because this is the last Yamcast you will see of us in this space. We are actually moving offices here, and next week and the next Yamcast, hopefully you'll see us in a brand new location. And we'll probably do a little shop tour as well on the channel, so stay tuned for that. In today's Yamcast, we are talking news from BMW. We're clowning on them once again. They have a massive recall we're going to be talking about. Honda is also finding more exciting ways to make their bikes more boring. Crazy how Hondas keep finding ways to, they make it accessible, but then it's more boring,
The nerd energy continues to compile up over at Big Red.
It's just compounding over there. And then we're also going to have a little what's going on with Yam and Spite because, truth be told, it is a light news week, so we got to fill up the space a little bit. Then, for the DM portion of the podcast, we're going to be talking about Harley-Davidson, but we're kind of taking a little spin on it. We're going to ask the Discord boys their take on Harley-Davidson, trying to get a thumb in the wind, a finger on the pulse of what the people actually think about Harley-Davidson. I'm sure we're going to hear from some Harley simps and from people across the aisle who, much like me, don't really have any love lost for the motor company. And, of course, at the end, we have the meme contest. I believe this one is a very good meme contest, isn't it?
Yes. This one is all about the Gixxer video.
Yes.
I was just like, here, this is 13 minutes of gold. Just make memes out of it.
And make memes they did. I've caught a couple, little screen caps here and there of the memes, and they seem pretty damn good. So stick around. It's going to be a fun Yamcast. Alrighty, Spite.
So,
what's
starting
the news?
us out, we are going to dive right in with the BMW news because that's the big one. So, this one, I was a little nuclear with the title here, but it's
just a tad, just a skosh.
Basically, they've recalled the pretty much the entire 1250 Boxer line that uses the shaft drive. Because there's a valve in the shaft which has a really funny name that I can't remember off the top of my head now, but there's this valve in there that's causing the swing arm to prematurely age and can cause the whole bike to just stop and it won't put any more power down.
I see.
So, because the BMW, the whole situation with that swing arm is really weird because if you look at it, it's got that like accordion gusset halfway down where it can sort of roll around. It's got this joint in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And that is actually where the problem is. Turns out when you make something that bends, it's going to bend. And now it's like almost 500,000 bikes are getting recalled.
That's a lot. So all those bikes are not going to go back in and get some work done to them, right? Looks like BMW is going to drill a small hole in the rear of the bike to remedy the situation.
Just to help the liquids flow a little bit more is what it sounds like.
Insert a valve to the hole. The valve will mean that the air and moisture will be able to flow out of the cardan tunnel without any entering from outside. So where are all the BMW simps telling us how superior the shaft drive is?
Yeah, I know. It's supposed to be so maintenance-free, guys.
It's so good. I mean, everything BMW does is so amazing, right? It's so excellent.
Yeah, clearly not.
Eat my whole ass, BMW people.
And I mean, okay, yeah, sure. Generally, the Beamers are reliable, but it's always kind of fun to poke some holes in them. Literally
poke some holes in them. Nice, nice.
I mean, why did it have to be complicated?
What's crazy is this recall is from 2013 to 2021. 440,000 bikes are subject to it. That's a big old kind of wide-ranging recall.
It's a huge recall.
Yeah.
I think the last big one that I saw like this wasn't even. It was like the Toyota one where they had their pedals getting stuck.
Yes, that one was crazy. Yeah, the accelerator pedals would get stuck. Just going into racetrack mode at the wrong time.
I mean, if you're going foot to the floor in a Toyota.
Yeah, I'm like, it depends on the Toyota, but I guess like a Corolla or some shit. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?
But, we just wanted to let y'all know that your GS is not the superior steed you say it is.
It's not, but boy, oh boy, BMW people will, apropos of nothing, tell you how amazing their bikes are. Which, to be fair, isn't too different from any other, bike simp, but I don't know. What do you think is it about BMW people that irks us so much?
I think it's just because the BMW bikes, they're generally pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, they're good motorcycles.
They're nice. They make them very high qual good bikes.
They're just completely soulless.
Yeah.
And they're crazy expensive, and they're always owned and ridden by people who are like, they're all wearing BMW. They're literally just Harley people.
Yeah.
But German.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there is a bit of like the brand identity of like, I'm a BMW rider kind of guy, you know? It's like that whole thing. Truthfully, I don't trust anybody who just has one kind of make in their garage and only has ridden one make. I'm like, I don't know about you as a motorcyclist, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you got to try. Variety is the spice of life, right? Try some other stuff out.
And it doesn't count to be on an R1250 GS one day and a BMW S1000RR the next day and an R9T the next day.
It does not count. Although that does sound like a good spread of bikes. But yeah, you need to look a little wider beyond the BMW thing. And clearly they're going to be able to now as their bikes all head off to the dealership.
They are saying it's not a critical thing, but I mean, if you're going to lose your drive shaft at some point.
Sounds pretty critical to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone on chat here said, BMW's leaking fluids, color me surprised.
I love how on the R1250, the oil input cap is like you need a special tool to open the oil orifice.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Really?
Just make it the little tab that is on every single other motorcycle.
Yeah. What's interesting, though, is the perception of a reliable, good motorcycle versus a non-reliable one. Like, whenever the Fireblade had the oil issue that we had, so many people coming out the wazoo telling us that we must have done something wrong, right? It's like, well, Hondas don't break. You guys f***ed it up. Like, there's no chance. Like, you guys did something wrong. But then BMW or Aprilia, they seem to have this kind of weird cloud of them. Like, oh, you never know with the European bikes and blah, blah, blah. I mean, Honda's done a fantastic job of making it seem like every single bike they make will just work forever, you know? And it's not really true. I mean, it's the manufacturer like any other. They can have problems.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's down to Honda selling so many motorcycles.
Yes.
That generally their numbers are skewed.
Yeah.
So.
And to be fair, their little bikes are basically unkillable little machines.
Yeah, you can't hurt them.
Yeah.
We tried.
We sure tried.
We tried to break 2 grams and we just couldn't.
We could not. But speaking of Honda, we have news from them too, right?
Lane keep assist, baby. Making motorcycle riders irrelevant one advent at a time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we've taken away your manual shifting, we've taken away your throttle control, and now, goddammit, we're taking away your ability to stay in the lane if you want to or not. So this is a feature that we've obviously seen in automobiles. Many automobiles nowadays come equipped with the lane keep assist, but now we're piloting them on motorcycles.
Yep. So it's just another level of electronic, like power steering. We talked about the Yamaha dirt bikes a while back that we're going to get power steering that would help make these like normally unrideable motorcycles rideable.
Yeah.
You know, allow them to do some weird stuff. But this is next level because it's a computer saying, no, you can't shift lanes.
Well, I think it's more of like it'll probably nudge or vibrate if you're wandering in the lane, right? Because that's how it works in my truck, for example. Or like it'll let you change lanes, but it does this weird like wheel jerky thing if you have the system on.
Where there's some resistance. Like
there's resistance, yeah.
That would sketch the shit out of me.
It's weird to get used to, yeah, and I often turn it off, but if I'm like just cruising on the highway, it's nice because you can just do like the little one finger driving because the thing kind of just rights itself and it's got adaptive cruise. But again, I always come back to this on motorcycles. Like, I'm not riding a bike to do that, you know?
No.
Like, I'm there to be engaged. I'm there to think and work and ride. I want to do it.
And they show it here on a sport bike. No sport bike. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's a 1000.
CBR. Yeah.
Nobody on a CBR 1000 RR wants that.
No.
They want to just be.
You got to put that on the S1000 RRs. They want that.
They want that.
They want that very much.
Somebody on an S1000 RR is definitely like, this is going to increase my touring capability on this motorcycle. I don't see the point of this on a motorcycle. I really don't.
Yeah.
Maybe on a Goldwing, but
possibly as a you could pitch it as a safety system, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're riding late at night, you're tired or you're not your best, and then you come through with the lane keep assist. Maybe it can save you here and there, but I don't know. I feel like I've never been in a position where I'm riding a bike and I'm so tired that I'm like kind of conking out. Because riding a bike makes me feel so aware. I can't be on a bike and be sleepy. That's never happened to me.
I've definitely been close when I've been doing my long rides where I'm just like, okay, I got to get off the bike. And
got some
we're
fatigue,
calling it a day. A lane keep assist might actually cause me to push too far.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm just like, cruising down the highway.
Your KLR just bouncing between the lanes.
I could just see that being problematic at a certain point. This is kind of a weird graphic where it's showing that it's correcting over some turbulent terrain.
Interesting.
Which is... Again, I don't see wanting to give this away.
Yeah.
I understand when you're off-road riding, you want to let the bike work and stuff. But one thing I don't want is I don't want a computer being like, no, we're keeping that handlebar straight.
Yeah, it's a funny kind of line because, you have stuff like steering dampers, right, that are going to help, this kind of situation where you got bumps and changes. It's going to lighten the kind of inputs that you need to put on the machine. But this is literally a physical mechanism that's going to be moving the handlebar for you. I don't like that at all.
They are saying that it'll relinquish the control back to the rider, but I don't want to wait for it to decide we're on a bumpy road.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
It would have to be learning based on the compression of the suspension. Like as soon as the suspension decompresses really quickly, it's like, oh, something's going on here.
Yeah. It makes me think of if you set up a bike to have everything by wire, that's when you start to, I guess, develop some interesting kind of technology through it, right? Like if you had steering input by wire, you have suspension by wire, brake by wire, throttle by wire, all of these inputs become electronically adjustable and controlled, theoretically meaning that you don't even need a rider, right? Yep. Technically. Is that good? I don't think so. Not really. I mean, what's the point of making these riderless motorcycles?
Just wait for MotoGP drone racing where, it's a full grid of bikes that are just standing there.
Yeah.
And then somebody they're holding them up right at the grid and then they just let them go.
Yeah. And there's some kid with purple hair with a VR glasses just going at it, I feel like it's so much safer to do it this way. I'm like, I don't freaking watch it because it's safe.
That's kind of the whole point.
Yeah. You want to see spectacle.
Motorcycling is not safe. It's there's jokes in Letterkenny about how the drug dealers are trying to make drugs safe, but it's drugs. Same deal with motorcycles.
Yeah.
Motorcycles are not safe.
Yeah. It's part of the reason why we ride them in a lot of ways, Yeah. Yeah, but that's getting off on a bit of a tangent. I don't know, man. The Honda automatic steering, lane keep thing. I'd love to, with all these technologies, I always want to try them and ride them and see what I think about them. I don't want to just pass judgment on them. Just thinking of, I mean, from the onset of looking at them, I sure as hell don't want that. But I definitely said that same thing about cruise control before I tried it, and then I tried it and I was like, actually, it's kind of nice. It's pretty sweet. The RS660 had cruise control, and I was like, what a nice feature on this bike.
It was really annoying on the Tuono, though.
Yes.
On the Tuono, I couldn't figure out how to get it to turn on reliable.
Probably because it was why are you trying to cruise?
Yeah.
You should be full gas. Everything on the bike was why are you not wide open throttle right now? You should try wide open throttle.
That solves all the problems on this motorcycle. Just go faster. Just go faster. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit faster. But, if we ever do see a bike that has this on the showroom, sure love to try it.
Yeah.
Sure love to try it.
Might as well.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on to what's going on with me and you, right? Because there's a light news week, so we have to fill it up with something. So you just came back from the Get On Fest at South Dakota, right?
Yeah, so I was at Get On ADV Fest with Josh. We both drove up literally the last Yamcast we did.
Oh, nuts.
We got on
right at last week or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We got on and drove 19 hours to go up, and we rode for 2 days, and then we drove 19 hours back.
Yeah. I remember that
shot.
I remember that Monday back. You had that head cold, and I called you, and you were like, "Hey man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it in today." And I was like, "Dude, just stay home, dude. Don't worry." I was like, just because you were like, "We can maybe shoot a video." I was like, "You're gonna sound ridiculous on camera." I was like, No. Just stay home. And it was funny because the dealership video you did, you still sounded a little stuffy.
Yeah.
So people still, caught a really nasty head cold, but
Yeah, but it was worth it.
Sturgis chlamydia.
Sturgis chlamydia. Yeah. We were staying at the Buffalo Chip, which I think the stat on Sturgis is when the rally happens, it's the biggest city in South Dakota.
Nice.
Or something like that.
That's
and
cool.
A lot of people are staying at the Buffalo Chip. And
but you were there not during Sturgis
not
rally.
during Sturgis
right?
rally.
This
was
before.
a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
It's like the soft launch for Sturgis. And it's actually really cool to go up there and ride when the Harley folks aren't there in mass.
Yeah.
Because the roads are beautiful. The vistas are amazing.
Yeah.
Through the Black Hills. And my God, the off-road riding up there is spectacular.
Cool.
It's absolutely spectacular. I have some footage of us going over some pretty gnarly stuff. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. The first day it was Josh and I, and we just went and did the expert loop for fun. And then the second day we did the expert loop with Brandon and Ari from Revzilla and the guys from Rever and a couple of other folks. They're so fast. Oh my God, they're so fast. I was trying to keep up, and I was just like, you know what? No, I'm gonna sit in the back of the pack, and I'm just gonna ride my own ride here.
What's funny is, you could hear that sentence and be like, oh, well, surely they were on little KTM 500s. Nope. Ari was on a GS, I think, right?
R1250 GS, and Brandon was on an 850. Both of those bikes, they had to JB weld the cases because the first day they broke holes in the cases.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're not getting their deposits back on those motorcycles.
Probably not. Yeah.
But that was a ton of fun, and absolutely enjoyed it. Been to the KLR hard.
Yes.
And it still just works.
Yeah.
So, KLR superiority.
I saw that footage you showed me on Instagram where it looked like the front end of the KLR just said, I'm going to go right. And you're like, but we're going straight. And it's like, sorry. And you just went ass over tea kettle.
Yeah. I hit the ground hard in that one.
You can hear the thwomp on the footage.
Yup. And then the whole clip is just because Brandon's right behind me. He pulls up behind me and he's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And then I sit up and you just see him in the back with his phone up taking pictures.
That's how you need to do it.
Yep.
But I mean, props for doing the expert loop on the KLR and just sending it. I mean, that's what it's all about,
Yep. And it did it. It was a lot of work, but it did it. I certainly would never do single track on the KLR ever again as long as I live.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little single track loop that we do at Spokes here that I was like, maybe you could do it on the KLR. And now I'm like, you should not do it on the KLR.
I can't stand bouncing between the rut.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weight to just have just moving around like this constantly.
So you got a real narrow tire and a skinny bike. It just sits in the rut and it just goes right through everything.
Yeah. I mean, I still have the skinny tires. It's just that when the weight shifts quickly, it feels real bad.
Yeah. Absolutely. Also, news about your KTM, no?
The news is there is no news still.
Well, the news is that you're now basically fully committed to not keeping it. You're going to get a Sportster, right?
I'm so sick and tired of this KTM bullshit at this point. I'm not sure if it's just abject frustration at this point, but I'm also sitting
it's been
here,
8 months.
It's been 8 months that I haven't been able to ride this motorcycle. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, what's next? And these guys, I'm sure they're probably going to do fine. But if they didn't bolt it together right, I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
The thing could fall apart while we're riding.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of just like, there's some serious love lost between me and the old SMCR at this point. I'm sure I'll get it back and enjoy it. Maybe I'll ride it through the rest of the season, but I'm just so sick and tired of having to deal with the Eurobike bull.
Totally fair. Yeah. So now you're going to deal with the American bike bull.
I mean, the only American bike bull that we've had was the Sportster just decided the fuse was going to fall out mid-ride. Now it's got the check engine light on because of course it does.
Pretty silly, but it's all good. Yeah.
But that's kind of just where I'm at with that bike. Just pure and abject frustration at this point. And it's still going to cost me $1,200.
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So I'm just kind of like, you know what, KTM, you can go sit in the corner and think about what you've done.
Yeah. Yeah. So on my end, really, you know, it's funny with me lately because it's been just so absolutely blisteringly hot here in Austin. I have not ridden much. What I've done is on the weekends here and there, I'll go to the track or I'll go to the MX track. And it's weird because it feels like because I'm not riding, I have so much more pent-up yeet energy. Like, I was out on the motocross track, and I was riding the best I've ever ridden. Like, my buddy was like, have you been, like, training or something? I was like, no, I haven't ridden in, like, 2 weeks. He's like, this is the best I've ever seen you ride. Like, you're almost throwing whips over these jumps, and, like, you're floating over the whoops and everything. He's like, you're doing really well. I was like, sweet. I guess I'm getting better. And then we went up to the track. It was me and Josh. We took the electric bike. We took the Daytona, the SV650, and the Royal Enfield, which, by the way, couldn't take the electric bike on track. They told me that I was not allowed, so I tried to take an electric motorcycle on track for that video for you guys, but I got there, and the track marshal there, he was like, you cannot take an electric bike on track. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, if the battery blows up, we don't have enough water to put out the fire because of the lithium ion. So electric motorcycles, the meme just continues. You can't use these bikes on track. You can't take them out for more than 90 miles. I am very anti-electric motorcycle right now in my life.
Yeah, it's been real hard with the Zero. It's just been, you know, fail after fail.
Yeah, and you've got your Living With coming up with it, and then also the comparison with the Livewire, too, which is going to be fun. So a lot going on there. But anyways, got up to the track, and then I was like, well, I can't ride the Zero. So we did the video with the Royal Enfield, and I was literally braking at the 1 marker with the Enfield. I was like, I'm not going fast enough to really need to brake any earlier. And so I did all the sessions of the Royal Enfield. I got on the Daytona, and obviously the first, like, after the first chicane on the ECR, I was like, wow, this is so much faster. I was like, this is awesome. But because I was on the Enfield, I was braking so deep with the Daytona, I found a 1.5 seconds off my PB because I was riding such a motorcycle on the last session, which was awesome. So yeah, I guess me not riding bikes has made me better at riding bikes, which is weird because you would think that if you ride more, you get better. But I feel like because I'm not riding, I don't know. Like I'm somehow doing better. It's weird.
Well, it's kind of that thing where you need to take a break every now and again and step back. Like if you're practicing guitar, they tell you to put it down for like a month.
For sure.
And just come back to it and see what's going on.
Yeah.
I still think it's so hysterical that you almost high-sided that Royal Enfield.
You got damn close. Yeah.
You got real close
it
to losing
literally looked like a GP save because the limit is so low. It was like... And I felt it too when I was on it. I was like, that was really close. Because I've gotten that same feeling from the RC390 that I used to have at Harris Hill. I damn near high-sided that thing too. But yeah, I literally scraped the brake lever almost clean off, the exhaust, the center stand. I mean, there's scrape marks everywhere. My favorite thing on the Enfield right now is the front tire has like hardcore like bubbles all the way to the ends. And I'm like, who is riding this bike like this? And why?
Well, you can see in the footage too where you're just like it's starting to step out mid-corner.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that must have been butt puckering.
It's just another day. I'm so used to it on track at this point. But yeah, and now the big goal is obviously to get that bike to the BTR level. I want to get 17s, SV650 size, sticky tires on it, clearance, and a little bit more power. And then I think Josh has nothing for me. I think I'm going to find like 12 seconds off the lap if I can do that.
It's all about the ground clearance.
It is, because I was limited by the lean angle and what the tires could do. So if you fix those two things, you got a much more capable bike.
Yeah, I mean, you were literally just like digging. You were grinding all the parts off the motorcycle. Like you could literally look at it and be like, did somebody take an angle grinder to this thing?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, there's no more curb feelers. They're both completely gone.
I mean, the nubs, you've basically ground down the threads on the outside of where the curb feelers screw in.
Yeah, so you can't even get them out now. But yeah, it was a real wild ride to take the Enfield out there. I'm now bullish to take the Sportster out there if we get the shocks on, just to see if it's any slower. I think it will be, to be perfectly honest.
Probably, yeah.
Just because it really does not do cornering very well at all.
Side to side, it's so heavy. Although I'm really interested to see what the shocks will do.
Yeah. those will definitely help a ton.
Because the problem right now is the rake is artificially elongated because
Yes.
it's squatting so hard.
Yeah, it's on those super slammer shocks.
It should be illegal to put 10-inch shocks on a freaking Roadster.
Yeah,
Dummy.
super dumb. But yeah, the track shenanigans will continue. Maybe if we're lucky and we can get the Rocket fixed, maybe Rocket 3 track day. I know a lot of people would love to see that. I think that would be a butt-puckering bike to take on track. The Enfield's nothing. A Rocket 3, oh, man.
That much torque powering out of a corner.
With the foot forwards, because it's the GT model, dude. Oh, my
Yep.
God. I think entering braking zones on that thing would be fucking scary, too, honestly. Or maybe because it's a Triumph and it's like a flagship bike, it will just work pretty well. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would be more worried about trying to, like, not be too aggressive on a power out just because of how much
TC.
torque.
It's got TC. It'll be okay.
Yeah, that's true.
The Enfield, literally mid-corner on the long right-handed ACR, the whole front end was literally doing this, like, the entire time. And I was like, why is it doing that? No bike does that through here. The pavement's fine. Totally compromised. But I'm excited to see what we can do with the Enfield.
Yeah, me too. It's one of those bikes where the more we've spent time with it, the more I really like hanging out with it.
Yeah, it's a good little bike. And we'll see how good it is after it's like a little race bike. If we can get the parts for it, obviously. But, alrighty, folks, we're now going to move over to the DM portion of the podcast. We're going to talk about Harley Davidson. Alrighty, everybody, welcome to the DM portion of the podcast. This week, we're talking Harley Davidson. Now, people have a lot of polarizing opinions about Harley Davidson, myself and Spite included. I think we're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum. I've gotten a little closer to your side over the past few years, but still very firmly at arm's length.
Yeah.
If I'm being perfectly honest. And so we thought we'd have some fun and ask the Discord boys to send us their thoughts about Harley Davidson so we can see what other people think about it. So let's jump in. Spite, how do you feel about Harley Davidson?
Okay, so I've developed a little bit more nuance on this subject over time. And I think it used to be just like, yeah, Harley, awesome, home team. I really don't love the Milwaukee 8s. The more I've ridden them, the more I'm like, this engine just feels too polished, too smooth. There's nothing here. They look cool. They look really, really cool.
Yeah.
And the Lowrider ST looks awesome. I'd love to ride one, but I still have a feeling that it's just going to be a little too... It's not going to have that sort of edge that bikes like the Sportster have. And the stuff that they're doing with the RevMax is super exciting. They're just moving at a glacial pace.
Yeah.
And
No kidding.
The Sportster stuff, that's where it lives for Harley for me. It's you cannot beat that particular motorcycle, but the problem is they can't sell them anymore because they passed Euro 2 and they can't pass anything past that.
Yeah.
So they can't sell them in Europe, and if they can't sell them in Europe, they can't really sell them at scale here. I mean, they paid for the R&D costs 1,000 years ago, but they are phasing out the Sportsters. They're crazy expensive too, but the thing that I really like about Harley Davidson, and this is probably more so something I've seen because I've been able to interact with a lot of people from the motor company, is the people involved in the process are really excited about what Harley's doing. You know, they're all super interested in the bikes they're making and getting out and showing people this sort of like new face of Harley Davidson, trying to really step it up and show that they're not just these big boomer bikes.
Yeah.
Which is really hard for them to get around. So hard. But they're putting a lot of effort into sort of reshaping this image. And I think that they're leaning a little bit on Livewire to help that out.
Mm-hmm.
It really comes down to, can they make an affordable sporting motorcycle? Like properly a nice sport bike that anybody could go buy.
Yeah.
Because they'll say, you know, I was at the Road Glide ST launch, and the guys were like, yeah, we have really good finance people. That's not going to get people on motorcycles.
No.
Saying that somebody can finance $30,000 worth of motorcycles is not great.
I mean, some of these guys are quoting 7-year notes on bikes. I'm like, nobody should be financing a bike for 7 years, dude.
Yeah.
It's not a truck. That's crazy.
So I think that they're slowly working their way in the right direction. I just also think they are cripplingly afraid of pissing off their ardent fan base, which is shrinking every single day. So
Totally.
they're at an inflection point, and my read on the situation is they're going to take it in the right direction.
Yeah.
How about you, though?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I'll be brutally frank here. When you say the words Harley Davidson, when I hear that word, my brain literally plays the opening riff to Bad to the Bone.
Yep.
Every time I hear I just, there's so much wrapped up in Harley that is beyond their bikes to me that it's hard to separate it.
Yes.
That's the problem for me personally of why I would never probably own one of these bikes, and the connotation and the context of which these bikes live. Because their customer base, for better or for worse, they are a peculiar side of motorcycling in America.
Yeah.
They are very unique in how they do things. Everything about them is unique. And, you know, they have this image of being the kind of Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville boomers going out to the Keys, like, you know, take your bike to Sturgis. I don't know. There's all this wrapped up in it. And then you look at the bikes that these people are ardently fans of, and you're like, well, this is yesterday's technology at tomorrow's prices. It's the common meme for Harleys. And I really do feel that up until the new Rev Max stuff, which, like you said, is very exciting. I think the Pan Am is priced great. A lot of the stuff with the Rev Max stuff is priced really well. I cannot make heads or tails of the pricing on the other stuff.
Oh, no. It's
I'm
egregious.
Why is some big-ass V-twin thing $30,000, man? But they know that the customers buying it are all refinancing their houses to go and get it because they know they're going to die in 5 years. So they're like, whatever. I think for me to get excited about Harley, because right now, again, I'm not really at all, they'd have to make a entry-level sporting motorcycle, something akin to a Trident 660, MT-07, or a 660, something in that ballpark, right? And then also a Royal Enfield-style entry-level bike.
I think they just need a proper entry-level motorcycle, period, full stop, end of story.
Yes.
They don't have one.
No, they don't.
I keep hearing that the 975
Come on, dude.
is a starter bike.
No.
Hell no.
No.
You should never start on a Rev Max. That
No.
engine will just chew you up and spit you out.
It's also like $13,000, and it's like way too much bike for a beginner. It's not a beginner bike. Let's be perfectly frank. So, yeah, I think they need to make. The other issue with Harley is, in my opinion, is they're too dedicated to the V-twin thing.
Yeah.
Try a different engine. Just try. Just give it a shot, you know? And they're doing that with their white label Chinese bikes. They're doing the parallel twins and those sort of things. Make a 500cc parallel twin. Who's gonna care? Well, your old ass cut. They're still buying Road Kings. They're fine.
Yeah, as long as you got a
Put 'em in
Road
the
King
corner.
for 'em.
Yeah, as long as you got Road Kings and Tri-Glides, because more of them are going to need it, just keep that going.
Yep.
So that's my issue with Harley. But I will say, having said all that, I have developed a bit of a soft spot for the Sportster line specifically because it's such a cool, charming little thing. It's got a lot of character and pizzazz, and it's so weird and stupid to ride.
Despite its badness, it's still fun to just turn it on.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
really cool to turn it on. Nothing quite like it.
Yeah. But now's where we hand it off to the Discord boys, which should be interesting. That one is not. That's about Reservoir Socks.
Yep. What's up first then?
So Ride Red, Bleed Blue, or nope, it's Devin the Dirt Turd.
All right, Devin the Dirt Turd here is first. Harley-Davidson motorcycles are slow and leak oil. They're ridden by retired squids who keep Fred Meyer's coupons for Busch Light and still buy hard copies of Leonard Skinner. At least the KLR burns its oil. Ooh, brutal opinion
Youch.
there. Ouch. So Devin the Dirt Turd here is saying that they're slow and they leak oil. I will say they are slow.
Yes.
People, I mean, other than the Pan Am and the new Sportster, most of them are pretty freaking slow.
Yeah. Honestly, it was kind of illuminating riding I did a big pull on the Sportster through 4 gears, and I looked down. I'm doing 100 miles an hour, and if I did that on any other motorcycle, I'd be deep into the triple digits.
Yeah.
So they are slow
Not
motorcycles.
on a Royal Enfield though.
Nope. On a Royal Enfield,
You'd never see triple digits. I genuinely don't think it can do it.
yeah, honestly.
Maybe tucking really hard and really believing. Maybe. Down a hill, too.
Look, we should just take it to the toll road and find out.
Find out. For science, yeah.
Next up, Ride Red.
Ride Red. Harley-Davidson, thumbs up. They have grown on me over the years because I've started to understand the character behind them. Still overpriced and overpraised by the older generation, but they are making moves to be more competitive. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what we were saying. They're entering the right direction here. It's, a dollar, what is it, a dollar short and a day late type of thing, but, they're making progress.
Mm-hmm. Full Metal Corgi.
Full Metal Corgi. Harley-Davidson is a lifestyle brand clinging to a motorcycle product. The bikes have their place and fandom, and performance aside, they're really hot garbage. But it has stopped being a motorcycle company and has become an all-encompassing juggernaut of real biking lifestyle. Source, my brother, who has never ridden before in his life, picked up a Road King, and within 3 weeks, his house is one HD logo away from a building code violation. Yeah, it's like, I think for a lot of guys, they hit their mid-30s, mid-40s, and they're like, I need something to spice up my personality a little bit. Let me get a frickin' Road King,
It's impossible. It's impossible to walk out of a Harley-Davidson dealership with the keys to a new bike and not have a bag full of Harley shit.
Yeah.
I still have that Harley jacket shirt thing that I wear from time to time. I got that when I got my first Harley.
Yeah.
I've got my Harley jacket when I got the first Harley. You cannot leave without some Harley gear in your back pocket.
Yeah. They are very good about the lifestyle apparel and branding.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that kind of annoys me, because it's like, you're not a t-shirt company, theoretically.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be making motorcycles. Get out there and make some really cool bikes.
Yeah, but they're like, but we make a lot of money selling t-shirts, so we're going to keep doing that for a long time.
Air Force 13 is next.
Harley is moving in the right direction, in my opinion. Just bought the new Nightster.
Damn.
Sweet ride, by the way. I've ridden the Pan Am and Sportster S. The Rev Max is the future for them if they want to stay relevant. Cool, 100%. Nightster owner right here. And yeah, I totally agree. The Rev Max is going to be the way they go, which is why whenever the new... what is it? The Lowrider ST, whenever it came out, I thought it was going to be a CVO with the Rev Max, like some Giga Rev Max, and I was like, "Damn, this is going to be badass." And I was like, "Nope."
Yeah, we were on completely opposite ends of the usual spectrum, where you were like, "This is going to be really cool. We're going to see some cool stuff," and I was like, "No, we're not. We're going to see the exact same thing from them."
Well, because lately I was like, "They're doing cool stuff. This is great," and then you're like, "I know Harley. They only disappoint." That's not true, but they do disappoint a lot of the time.
Yep.
Specifically with the Bronx. I think
man. They were I guarantee you that they're
I saw it in person, man. It was amazing.
Much like the Stratosphere and the Gen 3 Busa with a turbo, it's just sitting in a factory house, like a warehouse somewhere.
They made them.
With just sheets over. I bet there's 1,000 of them out there.
They made them for sure.
Detlaf is next.
Detlaf says, never owned or rode a Harley. I don't like the styling, and based on reviews, I assume they don't handle well and are heavy, so not my thing. Yeah, you're not wrong. That was exactly my impression before I rode a big M8 Harley, and I was like, yep, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be.
It's really easy to develop an opinion on a Harley based on the just wealth of knowledge that's out there, and the fact that all their bikes are based on the same frames.
That's the thing.
Literally every single, like, you've got the touring frame, you've got the Sportster frame, and then you've got the Dyna, or Softail.
Yeah.
And now they've got the stressed member Rev Max situation, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But generally, as long as you're in those three frames, they're all going to handle the same.
Yeah. That's why I just thought it was so funny when people are like, oh, but you got to ride my Harley because it handles better and blah, blah. I'm like, same frame.
Yeah.
Same big-ass bike. It does not going to do anything.
All the frames twist and shimmy in ways they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So... it's hard to make them really great. Ryan Ashley is next.
Says, why do Harley exhausts have to be so loud? That's all I have for the Harley topic. If you want to take this one, why are they always so loud?
Well, honestly, it's just because they probably are just like, huh? What? We've got the Sportster in the shop with the stock pipes, and it is plenty loud.
Yeah.
As it is. Probably because it only passed Euro 2. So I would just leave it as is. The bikes themselves are so loud because the engines are gigantic.
Yeah.
Huge explosions.
Big engine make bigger explosion, yep.
So that's why they're so loud.
Yeah, it doesn't help either that people freaking straight pipe them too.
Which is so dumb.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Wyatt is next.
Wyatt says, Harley to me is all about the sound and lifestyle. The new bikes have great style, though not as pure as the 48 and Roadster. And the new engine is a huge upgrade, but it's not unique to Harley. The Rev Max is a great motor, but it's basically the same as the Indian motor, or insert another modern V-twin here. Debatable. No. I hope the Bronx does come to fruition because the new engine is a perfect fit for that application, but what I think they really need is a street series, every level line of cruisers and standards that have at least the pure old school style if we can't have the classic engine anymore. What's your take on this?
So definitely the Rev Max is not just a copy of the Indian engine.
No, it feels totally different.
The Indian engine is just this rowdy, brawler, aggressive, angry thing.
The zoinked out little engine.
The Rev Max is actually really pulled together. It feels more like a Ducati engine, honestly. And it sounds, there was a Pan Am at the Sturgis thing I was at that had a pipe on it.
Oh, really?
And it sounded just like a Ducati.
I've never heard one with a pipe.
It was crazy. I like literally. I was talking with our guy from Harley, and it went by, and I was like, "Oh, is that a Ducati?" Oh no, it's a Harley. It sounds just like a Ducati.
So weird.
And then for the street line, yeah, they definitely need something that anyone can attain.
Yes.
And I don't think that's going to be a V-twin. I think it's got to be a parallel twin of some kind.
Yeah, they just need to make a $8,000-ish parallel twin entry level bike. That's it.
I mean, just figure out which company. I can't remember whether it's QJ or CF.
CF or QJ.
That's got the KTM parallel twins. Just steal those and put them in a Harley and be done.
Yeah.
So that would be my word of advice here. Henthorn Performance
says, I am kind of a Harley guy. I've always loved Sportster, really, but I'm glad to see Harley making some changes, going water-cooled on something. I feel like someone might actually be coming to the times. It may be what saves them in the long run. I think so, because like we keep kind of beating the drum about, the core customer is phasing out. It's a very nice way of saying they are literally dying. So.
Yep. And you got to have something that is, especially in such a dollar-driven market, you got to have something that's competitive.
Absolutely. So. It's why you see the cheap bikes all selling like crazy, because people want to start motorcycling. They just don't want to spend an arm and a leg.
I mean, so talking about expense, the clamshells on the Harley, those are aluminum. Not plastic like on every single other motorcycle.
That's
They're
insane.
aluminum clamshells. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, I was taking them apart, and I was like, this has just got to be coated plastic, right? I know. I separate them, and they start clanging together, and I'm like, no wonder it's 560 pounds.
Yeah.
The Dr. Zero is next.
Growing up in a Harley family, I always loved Harleys, but the last probably 8 years, I've been pretty disenchanted with the motor company. The only two models I've been really interested in are the Sportster, I own one, and the V-Rod. Until the Pan Am and the new Sportster came out, now I'm getting interested again. If they did the Bronx, they'll have me back, especially if they put the 1250 in it instead of the 900 and make a Hyper Naked. I'll buy one immediately. Yeah, lots to say here. I think the idea of a Harley family is where this kind of, Harley dedication comes from. Like if your dad rode them, if your mom rode them, like everybody had them around you, you're probably going to like them too,
Yeah. I will say this, though. I think it would be a bad idea for Harley to try and make a Hyper Naked.
Yes.
I think that is the wrong market for them to play in.
They will not compete.
No, it'd be like the Jixxis Thou.
Yeah.
The Rev Max is great, but it's only putting down 134 to the wheel.
Yeah.
That is not enough to play with the MT10, the Ducatis.
Yeah.
It's not the right market for them.
They'd have to hot rod that bike. And I mean, you think about the Super Duke. It's got 51 more cc's and it makes 180 something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot
with 106 foot-pounds of torque.
A lot more power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the tech on those bikes is immaculate.
Yeah.
Not that the tech on the Pan Am's bad, but I mean, the Pan Am, you have to get a quick shifter as a optional extra.
Yeah, that needs to be standard.
Yeah. So I think Hyper Naked is the wrong category for them to play in.
Middleweight Naked.
The middleweight Naked is really, really competitive.
That's true too.
They got to try.
But they have a better chance.
They've got a better chance in the middleweight.
Better chance.
They got to come.
Not with a 975 making 90 horse though. No chance.
Nope.
You got to get that 975 making 130, 115, 120 something in that ballpark.
I think if it's making 115 and 94,
that's
like
good.
the Sportster, literally they just take the 12. I mean, fuck it.
It's a 1200.
The 1200. Yeah.
See,
that's a good point.
That's the issue.
Man, they really got to just rod the hell out of that V-twin.
Yeah.
Because it should at least be able to keep up with the Monster.
Yeah.
So they really got to, and maybe that's why they pulled back, because they looked at
They were like, we can't do this.
they would just get trounced.
They probably bought like a few of the competitors' bikes, and they were like, no.
Yeah.
No, we're not even close.
Yeah.
Like Street Triple 765, dude. Are you kidding me? That's like a ridiculously good motorcycle. KTM Duke 890, Z900, Monster, like MT09,
MT09.
for it's under 10 grand. You can't do it.
And Harley would want to come in with a $15,000 price tag.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe that's why they pulled back. They were like, we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
You know.
They need to I think they need to figure out scale. They need to stop building them in America. Build the engines in America and then ship them over to wherever, or, you know,
Vice versa. I don't know. Because
Yeah.
I mean, most other companies don't manufacture them in their home company.
Yeah.
Even Japan. The Hamamatsu, the Yamaha factories, everybody else, they design everything in Japan, and then they go off to Thailand to get them built.
Yep. So that's one thing that Harley's got to figure out.
Yeah.
Hacksaw SF.
They say, I rode a Harley-Davidson for being willing to finance something with less than stellar credit history. My first bike was an XR 1200 Sportster, which I loved until I broke it. When that happened, they worked with me again to get on a new Sportster, and for that I am grateful, but I cannot wait to be able to get a different style bike. If they would get off their asses and make the Bronx, I would sing their praises. Also go trade my Sportster in today, but they have let me down. I've considered a Pan Am now that my credit is on track, but I have a hard time justifying that spend when the Africa Twin exists. That's fair too. I mean, you don't need a $20,000 ADV when you can get a $15,000 one that does basically the same thing. But this thing about Harley and the credit history and the financing is very interesting too.
Yeah.
That's where they get people.
They will
they'll
finance anybody for any length of time you want.
Yeah.
Anytime you probably shouldn't finance.
Yeah.
They will literally work magic.
Yeah.
No, doesn't matter what your credit score is, they'll get you out on a Road King.
Because they have their own financing company.
Eagle Mark Savings Bank.
Yeah, it's a whole bank that they're like, we'll take anybody, because they're just like, well, we'll just come, chop your legs off and repo the bike if you don't pay us back, so whatever.
Mm-hmm. And they'll happily charge you 13% interest.
13 is where it starts. They're like 28% interest.
It's like a high interest credit card, except it's a motorcycle.
In this market, with what the Fed's doing, Harley's like, all right, 30% interest for your Road King.
I also don't know that the Pan Am and the Africa Twin are playing in the same pool. I feel
it's close.
I feel like the Africa Twin has always been on its own in the adventure bike space. Not quite full flagship and not quite middleweight.
Interesting. I feel like it's full-fledged.
You do think it's like a full-on?
Yeah, for sure.
Sort of like maybe the MT10 of the flagship ADVs.
Yeah, I think it's there.
Okay,
I think so.
I'd need to spend some time on it.
I can see where you're coming from because it's less expensive than the other ones and makes a little less power. It's not as cool and nice as the other big ones, the GSs and the Pan Ams and the KTM Super Adventures or whatever.
It's just as big as all those.
Just as big, yeah. Just as big.
Humongous is next.
I kind of think of Harley like STDs. I don't really want one, but everyone, someone has had one, and most times they have a good stories behind them.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a funny way of thinking about Harleys, yeah. Yeah, they are like STDs. You don't really want one, but somebody knows probably had one. That's great.
And now somehow you've had two in the shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honaha Yamada.
Yo, Bromios. So the thing with Harley, in my opinion, is basically the Starbucks or basic bitch motorcycle brand. Like, they have some good things, but most of their other stuff is relatively similar with different packaging. Also, it's not unusually, though sometimes the choice of people that are super into the intricacies and want to explore all coffee and motorcycling has to offer, yet most people know the name and are keen on consuming the overpriced, but especially as of late, still good or good enough product. Take care, Bromios. Or Bromigos, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, Harley basically is like equals motorcycle to a lot of people.
Yeah, they've transcended the space.
Totally.
They've become they like Kleenex.
Yeah.
I think I don't know that it's the basic brand though necessarily. I feel like
Honda kind of is that.
Yeah, when you think of Harley, it's like, oh, you have a Harley, huh? Okay, you must be doing pretty good.
Interesting. I hear a lot of people give that answer. I've never thought that personally, but I've also not been too familiar with the bikes to know that they cost $35,000 or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
they're like down payments.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about basic.
Yeah.
Fizzy Old Cod is next.
They say, I think Harley knows how to get new riders on bikes, but they just choose not to because they know it also involves betraying their current image. I also believe they 100% ready to release the damn Bronx and are waiting for the absolute perfect moment. Yeah, possibly. In terms of Harley not trying to get beginner riders, I mean, their dealerships do a great job of teaching people how to ride.
Yeah.
We were driving in around the San Francisco area going to the Moto America event. We passed our Harley-Davidson dealership, and they had this huge sign that said, "Learn how to ride today."
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know?
They really want to get you on a motorcycle. They really do a good job of being like, this is something anybody could do. Mm-hmm. They just don't have a beginner bike. They used to with the Buell Blast, which was a disaster of a bike.
Yeah.
And they had the Street 500, but...
They just kneecapped Eric Buell with that one. They're like, best we can do is half a Sportster engine. He's like, okay. Jeez.
Next up, we got Stupid Millennials.
Honestly, I love the Harley bagger look, but I would prefer to get a Vulcan Voyager or a Vaquero and save 10 to 15K to spend elsewhere.
Yep.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
But then you don't have the Harley, you know?
Yeah. But a lot of people don't give a about that, honestly, because to most people, they'll see a Vulcan Voyager and be like, that's a Harley.
Yep.
They won't know the difference.
I'm just wired wrong. Whenever I see Harley Davidson big and bold on the tank, it feels cool to me.
Yeah.
You know, like the Pan Am with the shield on it.
Yeah.
Just looks really cool to walk out and see the bar and shield on the side.
That's how I feel about seeing the Tuning Fork brand. I just think it's cool. Jake
Smith is next.
Says, thoughts on Harley? Great used deals from their aging demographic, and the aftermarket is awesome. What they are doing now is interesting, but I've never bought anything from a dealer other than an odd part. It's not like I hate their bikes. They are 3 of my 4, but I don't see any value in the new models versus their old. I'm glad they're updating, however. They needed to. I still remember Indian just dunking all over Harley in flat track.
Yep.
Yeah. Very fair points here.
I also, Harley's doing this King of the Bagger stuff, but they need a race program that's not just, we are competing in a event that we made up.
Yeah,
They need to go compete against actual other motorcycles, and they need to build a bike that's competitive.
What's
Bring
cool
back
is
the R1000.
the Screamin' Eagle guys that I talked to from Moto America, or at Moto America, they basically feel that if they prove enough of their chops with the bagger bikes, that they're going to be able to convince them to make a real race bike, you know?
There is a lot of that. And when I was talking with, I think it's Jason Kale, who's the Screamin' Eagle product development dude.
I spoke with him at Moto America, yeah.
They try so hard to... The whole King of the Baggers thing is they're proving to the higher-ups that this is something that's
it's viable and important. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they see, well, we've got 1,000 M8s that we can just crank out. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
But nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I really think if they built that kind of $8,000 parallel twin bike and made like a Twins Cup style bike, a lot of people get excited about that.
Yeah.
Make an R7 style bike. Why not?
That would be so wild. Imagine like an R7 in like white and black fairings with just the big bar and shield on the side of it.
You know it'd look cool as shit. That's the thing about Harleys. They're going to make it look cool, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of their new bikes are very interesting looking, and that's it's cool.
Yeah. Rebel Rider.
I don't know if this is where you post questions on the listener comment section. It is, but I think Harley is a good company with the good motorcycles, but I can't stand the people who ride them. For the most part, they also have this incredibly powerful social media presence in my feeds for some reason, and it's trained me to always be clowning on them. Yeah, like I said, you can't separate Harley from the people who ride them. It's its own thing, you know? Like, geez, I don't mean to dog on Harley guys, but they're just... It's like a separate breed of motorcyclist, you know?
Yeah, and they all are kind of cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
They all have the patches, and it's all about, showing other people that you ride instead of enjoying your own ride.
Yeah.
And
then also commenting saying that they did some, 3,000-mile ride and how, like, that's, like, a hard thing to do, and it's like I tour a lot, brother, and this and that, and I'm like, it's not difficult to ride a bike like that for 3,000 miles.
No. Last up, we've got Jap Simp.
Hey, Spite, I know you guys are not doing off-road content anymore, but I really think you guys would enjoy a couple little two-stroke dirt bikes. Well, it's not about Harley, but we're never doing off-road videos ever again.
Oh, that makes me sad.
You can do them on your own time.
Yep.
Alrighty, folks, let's move on to the meme contest. Alrighty, folks, welcome to the meme contest of the week. For this week, the boys are memeing the day in the life of a Jixer Squid video, a video ripe with memes, I would say.
So many memes.
So many good memes in that video.
I mean, that was... we just literally came in and we're like, okay, I have a general script that we wrote up here, but we're just going to goof on Jixer Boys for a nice 4 hours.
So much of that video was on the fly, you know, where I was like, well, this would be funny. Let's try this. Let's do that. And then just compounding effect on it. It was really great.
And it was good to see that it performed well because it was one of our skit videos, and those never do good.
Yeah, it did pretty well. People liked it. I told people to share it if they liked it because I wanted to keep boosting it, but then we do a talking head video, and it does even better. So I'm like, God damn it. But these memes are going to be good. What's our category we're rating them on?
So we got quality and funniness, our usual ones.
Beautiful.
And so we're starting us out with Rebel Rider right here. And it's just a picture.
All right, so it's just a picture from a rider. It says, do you ever wonder what a true Jixer Squid thinks about in their spare time? And it's just me cranking on the throttle and then me also having sex with the bike. It's pretty fair, honestly. That is what Jixer people think about it.
Yeah, we had that gag with the freaking exhaust.
Yeah.
All right, so quality and funniness here for Rebel Rider.
I think middle of the road quality. How about a 6?
A 6.
Yeah.
That's not... Why aren't you number locking? 6. God damn it. There we go.
Yes.
Funniness.
I think a 5.
A 5.
Yeah.
Next, we've got Bad Assler, who we have not heard from in some time.
Oh, boy, a heavy hitter.
So this should be good.
I saw you all day, KLR in the air, baby. It's a heavier bike than the DRZ, but the overall setup is better. Real boys on real dirt bikes. Yes, dude. It's just all about confidence, you know? Poltars is 6'7".
That's very good. I love the Poltars as a Giga Chad.
Yup.
That was great. He's 6'7". He's just like...
I love how we said we're not making dirt bike content, so they made it for him.
Yes. Yes. The memes are very good. And true facts, if you guys didn't know, both Poltars is like 6'5" or 6'6". He's a huge man. So if you ever see him on the T7, he literally makes it look like a little 125. It's crazy.
Which is why it works so well with him.
Yeah. He's a big guy. That's the only reason, right? He's not super skilled. He's just a big guy who could just
huge.
muscle it around. Yeah.
I could do that if I wanted to.
Yeah, if I was 6'7", I could ride like Poltars. Yeah, right. No chance. Quality here, man. You had to really dig through the catalog to find these.
Yeah.
I mean, to really piece that together.
There was a lot of effort.
Yeah, I think a 9 is pretty high qual.
Funniness.
Very funny. I think a 9.
Yup.
Yeah, I liked it.
Swinging straight for the fences is Bad Assler. FTR to the 9 is next.
So it's me looking up, oh, Lord of the Jixer Squids. What does it say? I'm showing up to you as a... I can't read that. It's
shouting up to you as a most loyal, most dope, one-wheeled squid missile. To hook me up with that so sick, taint tickling Gen 1 Turbo Busa, the all holy, all Jixers.
Says, you want what, my dude? And then...
Gen 1 zoot scoot. Best they can do. Times are tough.
Times are tough. I'll never get Stardust Crystal back.
So
That's
praying for the Gen 1 Turbo Busa.
I like you as God over there. That's just a good meme in of itself. That should be a sticker. I mean, that's good, right?
Yeah?
You look so holy.
I'm okay with that. If y'all want to,
you as God sticker. What can we do with that? Where could we put that?
just wherever.
Yeah.
Spite God chant. Cool. So FTR 9.
All right. So if we get you as Spike Godchan, we also have to do you as Stardust Crystal Johnson. That's
Yeah.
also a sticker.
Oh God.
One hand giveth, one hand taketh. You know.
That is like literal yin yang energy right there.
Absolutely. Josh and I were joking at the new shop. We were gonna get a cutout of me at about 6'7" or 6'8", and then do actual size, and then we're gonna have you at like 5'8", looking up, and then saying actual size as well, just to f with people. So it's like, wait, are they really that size?
Yeah, I'm just wearing platform boots every single day.
Yeah, and we're always filming it so I don't look too big, you know.
We could have you there, and on me it's enlarged to show texture.
That's funny.
Okay, so for FTR Tooth 9, quality here.
So it's pretty damn hard to read, but I like the general concept. I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
6.5. That's 65. Funniness.
Pretty funny. I'll give it a 6. I think
A 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels fair. Fizzy Odd Cod is next with.
On chat here, this guy says Spite God airbrush on tank of a Harley. It's pretty good.
What was the thing I had about the gender bender Jesus on the Turbo Boost tank?
Yeah, you had some line in the script about like gender bender Jesus on the turbo airbrush on the Turbo Boost tank, and I couldn't read it. It was too funny. This is a very good one though. It says me, my 2 inches, and my Tinder date. Just work with what you got, you know? If all you got's 2 inches, just motion of the ocean, right? Just
Girth is the real question
girth
mark.
is the real question.
All right,
Just
so
a wide, flat bowl of a dick, you know?
okay, so for Fizzy Odd Cod, quality here,
It's not very high qual. I think it's like maybe like a 5, middle of the
5.
road. But
funny.
very funny. I think an 8 for funniness.
Yup.
Clever. I liked it.
13. Baby Blue is next.
Baby Blue here.
I think this might actually be a video.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Exhibiting a common mating ritual, this jigsaw squid explains to a local bimbo why being his third wife technically makes her less important than his fifth jigsaw.
That was really hard to understand.
Yeah, Microsoft Sam was doing some work there. It's like
Yeah.
the Jigsaw Squid explains to his fifth wife why the Jigsaw is more important or something like that.
Something like that.
If you're going to make the video, you got to mix your audio levels.
Gotta mix the audio. Yeah, it actually makes for the joke to really come through.
Yup.
Yeah, I don't think it was as successful. I like the idea of it, but not as successful.
Yeah, quality here.
I think it's kind of middle of the road because the audio mixing was pretty poor. How about a 4?
A 4.
Yeah.
Funniness. Also really hard to get the
hard,
message.
Yeah, hard to get the message. I think a 4 is fair. Yeah.
Matthew DFW is next with... Is this a photo? Please tell me it's the... Look.
Yes.
That will never not make me laugh.
Yeah, that's always good. It's so useful too. Also, like I do feel like Jigsaw squids would just pull out their dino sheet and make you look at it. They're just like, no, look, 186 to the wheel, look, and just like that with a kind of mouth agape, just eyes slightly crossed.
I will say for the first, I didn't realize it was the dyno chart. I didn't really look at the graph.
Oh, really?
But I just looked at the general shot.
Yeah, no,
job.
it's a Jigsaw dino graph.
Yeah, no, and then I see it, and that makes
Fucking
it
awesome.
all the better.
Yeah, it's great. Great.
All right, so for Matthew DFW, quality.
I think a 6 for quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Pretty
to work
easy to
with,
execute.
but
Yeah.
very funny.
Very funny. I think a 7.5 for funniness.
7.5. I was gonna go with like an 8 or a 9.
8 or 9?
That
How
one
about
that gave me a good laugh.
good gut bust. Yeah, how about an 8?
An
yeah,
8.
I think it's pretty good.
That's a 14 there for Matthew DFW. Oyster Cracker 4 is next.
so oh, this is a good Photoshop job. Oh man, that's really funny. So it says here, you only got gapped by a turbo booster once. We'll make sure that never happens again. And it's got a Jixer stretch and a Dyno Jet Power Commander 5.
Toach pipe.
And the Toach pipe. And just the forlorn little Jixer squid. Classic Brokeback Mountain meme.
Oh, that is so good.
Yeah, that's very funny. That one's got to go on Instagram. That one's very good.
That one is awesome.
Yeah.
Quality here.
Pretty good Photoshop job, honestly. I like the face and the
Yeah.
It's very compelling. I
He
think
matched it up pretty well.
Yeah, a 7 for sure, I think.
Yep. And then funniness.
Man, it's like a 9.5. Yeah, it's a 9.5.
That was a very, very funny.
Very funny. Yeah.
Pinko is next.
That's so good. It reminds me of the we laughed this hard at that weird Teletubby meme with the UJM M bars one.
Yup.
Oh man, that was good. Classic, simple execution here. Very good. Me looking longingly at a stupid little slip-on pipe when it already has the good K-tuned pipe on it.
You know, the funny thing is I actually at one point installed that pipe on the Jixer.
Yes, you did.
And it sounded like ass.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I think I bought that pipe. It was either $40 or $20. I can't remember, but it came in with a whole bunch of other parts under $100. So
Can't ask for more than that.
Yep. So for Pinko here, quality.
I think it's a 5 for quality. It's very simple, very middle of the road.
Funniness?
Pretty funny. I'll give it a 6.5.
6.5.
Good chuckle.
Agreed. That's an 11.5 there for Pinko. Next up, we got Full Metal Corgi.
Let's see here.
Pretty sure he's got another video.
Here's why, for your why, bang it up, sit your why, just sit your why, just fucking why.
Oh, how I wish they made those noises, but they don't. It's so sad.
I just the idea of some Moto E rider in the back, they're in their
helmet,
helmets going as they're going down the back straight.
They're about to launch, just like
They should. I know they won't ever do that, but as a joke, they should have the riders do that at one race.
Someone should do this meme. It's a little high effort, but they should record themselves making all these weird little mouth noises as the Moto E-bikes go by.
That would be really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Full Metal Corgi here.
Simple quality, I think. I think it's 6. What do you think?
It also was like he sort of made a meme out of the Jixer video.
Yeah, it was really not quite a Jixer meme video.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I'm calling it a 6.
Funniness.
Decently funny. How about a 6.5?
A 6.5.
Yeah.
Last up, we've got Stacy the Death Star.
It's so...
I already know what's going to happen.
Because it's so unique and so much its own thing, I don't mind not having the gears. I don't mind not having to work.
Nice. Nice. I was hoping someone would do something with that sound because it was very useful for other things. I loved it. That was great.
Okay, so for Stacy the Death Star, quality here.
I will say I do feel like crying when I ride an electric bike. It's not the same.
No.
It's not the same.
They're just not that great.
It's not that great. Quality for this meme, though, was great. How about a 7.5?
7.5.
I liked it.
And funniness.
Pretty damn funny. I think an 8 or an 8.5. What do you think?
I'm thinking an 8.
8. I think that's fair.
That is 15.5. Which
Nice.
I think is our solid third place. We've actually don't have any runoffs now.
All right, so Bad Assler, surprise, surprise, first place.
Yup.
When he comes, it's like he just shows up out of retirement and just comes in and just whoops up on everybody and just leaves.
It was just like, it's been a minute since I've won something. I gotta get something out of this.
Or he's like at checkout trying to buy something. He's like, I'm $100 short. And he's like, I know how to win $100.
Joke's on him. He's getting flying eyes this time.
Yeah, you're not getting any money. Oyster Cracker 4 looks to be second place
That is correct.
with his 9.5 funniness score. That is a high funniness. What was
Yup.
his meme again?
That was the Brokeback Mountain meme.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. That's going on Instagram. That's an honorable mention for Instagram too. You're going on there. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that one was. Yep, this is it. Right.
It's really good. Just that face in the Suzuki hat. Oh man. Oh, that's really f***ing funny.
Yep. And then third place goes to Stacy the Death Star.
Very nice. All right, folks. Spite's going to get with you for your prizes. And if you made it to the end of a Yamcast, well, join up on yamnoob.co. It's ridiculous. You made it all the way to the end and you're not on the Discord. That's ridiculous. Go
What's
join
wrong
it.
with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Go join. You can make memes. You can hang out. That's a great time. But for all that being said, thank you so much for tuning into the Yamcast yet another week. We'll catch you guys next one. See you later.
Watching